We are finished up. This is episode 25 of the day in the life of the adjuster. I'm tired. I'm tired. It's been a busy day, busy morning on the adjuster world today. I had 3 inspections in Greensboro, 3 hail inspections, and it was quite the morning. Now I've got an hour and a half drive to get home and write those up when I get home. So really nice place. Just finished leaving a place here. Looked like it was on about a 20-acre lot with a big lake in front of it, and the house was sitting about a 1/10 of a mile off the road. It is a beautiful house, beautiful place. Really nice area out here. My first claim was insanity. It was 1512. Look at that house. That's beautiful. Look at this, guys. I don't know if you can see that. That's a beautiful house. I mean, there's some really nice places out here. Can't believe we're in Greensboro, and it's not, to me, I never thought Greensboro was a nice place to live. For years I've known Greensboro as like a very high crime area. Winston-Salem, kind of the same thing. And I think people are finding, maybe at one point in time the land was cheaper out here years and years ago, and I think a lot of these houses, either they bought the land back then and held it, or I don't know, because a lot of these are new houses. They look like they're new builds. So I think people are finding that it's cheaper to come out here to Greensboro, a country, and to build this monster mega mansion than it is, in some of the bigger cities, which it certainly is. It's really, really expensive to build something like that in Raleigh. But Greensboro, I don't know, what does Greensboro have to offer? There's not a whole lot in Greensboro. Anyway, so I was in 3 houses, all within about a mile and a half of each other. So the first house was 65 square shingles, monster house. 1412 on the front, 1512 on the left and right. I don't know if you guys got to see my last video that I uploaded about another 1512 that I climbed. And so I went ahead and did a video on this one as well. This one was a little scary. And the only reason is because having a 1412 and a 1212, and a 1512, that makes the valleys actually kind of steep as well. Whereas typically the valleys, when you walk in them on a 1212, are very doable, and I don't know what they end up being, maybe a 10. When the two things come together, it ends up being like a 10. I don't know. It's something about a 1212 valley that's easier to walk on than it should be. But this one being a 15 and a 14, the valley was very slippery, and a lot of granules were falling off, and I was slipping a fair bit while I was walking down that valley. So that was not fun. But we got it inspected. There was a ton of hail, and we're going to be buying that roof. But not a fun roof to climb. So how are you guys doing today? How's everybody? How was your weekend? Doing anything fun? I didn't do anything fun. I was editing videos all weekend. So, did you guys do anything fun? It's a beautiful day. We had a big hailstorm, or a big storm yesterday, big thunderstorm yesterday here in the area, and they were saying that we were going to get 1.5-inch hail here. I don't think we got that. I think we may have got some 1/2-inch stuff. Did show up on the hail tracker this morning. So I'm hoping that some roofers will get out there and find those that hail damage somewhere, and maybe we can get some claims. in the apex area. So for roofers who are listening, Apex, Cary, South Raleigh, I think Holly Springs and Fuquay also had some potential to have some hail. So yeah, definitely want to be hitting some of those areas. Pull that hail map too, guys. The hail map that you can buy, a hail tracker or storm tracker or whatever, will give you a hail swath, and tell you exactly what subdivisions got damaged. So that way you work the neighborhoods that actually got damaged, rather than hitting and missing and knocking doors and having to do all this free inspection stuff and finding out there's no damage on the roof. So definitely get a storm tracker, hail tracker. I think it's called Hail Strike, like somebody says. But yeah, they'll give you for $120 or something like that. They'll actually give you the whole hail swath that will show you where the hail hit and what subdivisions it is. It overlaps it onto a regular map, and then you guys can just work the area and knock on the doors and know that you've got proof that hail hit that area. So yeah, I'm hoping you roofers will be getting out there in Southwest Raleigh and South Raleigh and helping us to find that hail. I know Durham had some, Wake Forest was showing that they had some. So yeah, I'm hoping here in the next couple weeks to get a big push on some hail inspections so I can stop driving to Greensboro. I don't mind going to Greensboro. Greensboro's good. I mean, there's some big houses where this hit. These are all 50 square, 45 square. The one today was 65 squares. Big roofs. So looking to make a ton of money on those roofs as far as the billing schedule goes. So very excited about that. Alrighty, well, how are you guys doing? What did you do this weekend? What did you do this weekend? Anything exciting? Did you guys work? Did you guys work on Saturday? Or I hope you took Sunday off. But did you work Saturday, Friday? I had to work Saturday. I did not work Sunday. I try to always take Sunday off, give myself a day of rest. And it was good. Very relaxing. So, tell me where you guys are listening from. Tell me what you did this weekend. Tell me if you have any questions about insurance adjusting or an insurance adjuster, or what an insurance adjuster is. If, wondering if you can make some money doing this job. I don't know. Do you like 100,000 plus? That's very doable. I would say kind of like a starting pay for most of the adjusters who are independent. If they apply themselves and really get out there and want this work, the average starting pay is between $90,000 and $100,000. So who wouldn't want that? Maybe you're fresh out of high school. Oh man, you're in a dream place. To be right out of high school, not knowing what you want to do for college, definitely want to be an insurance adjuster. More money you'll ever make with a 4-year degree. So, I regret doing any college. I wish I had been introduced to insurance adjusting before I went to college, before I wasted all my money in college, because that is the way to go. Hey, how's it going? When you do any interior claims, do you use manual sketch or do you use Xactimate mobile or other apps? Yeah, I do manual sketch. I put it on a paper. I know lots of guys who use Xactimate mobile. It seems to work out well for them. It's fast. I prefer just being able to zip it out on a piece of paper because I'm really fast at that. And I like to have a hard copy of it, so if I ever have to look back at this thing in the future, then I can see maybe where I had a measurement issue, maybe if I wrote it down wrong or something like that. it's just how I started, because Xactimate Mobile was not very popular back when I was starting, and it was kind of cumbersome, so I never really started learning on that. Whereas a lot of guys, it's actually pretty good now, and a lot of guys are starting to learn on that, and they like it. You can't write your reports in Xactimate Mobile, so you still have to basically upload it all to the cloud and then go back and write your reports. Your estimate macros I don't know that your macros can be used very well in Xactimate Mobile. I don't know that for sure. I have not heard anybody confirm. I've heard a lot of people say it doesn't work very well. So I write everything with macros, so there's no way I would go to Xactimate Mobile if I couldn't use my macros. So macros to me are a game changer when it comes to writing estimates. So if you wanted to sketch, take your iPad in there, fine. I mean, I think it's pretty cool. You just, draw your little squares, use the disto measures and transfers measurements. Yeah, it's cool. Sounds like a pretty streamlined process for sketching. But carrying an iPad up on a roof, I don't know that I'd want to do that. So I use a clipboard, that has the hole in the top of the metal. And I use a little carbiner, and I basically just clip it into that. And then I can walk all over the roof, pull up the clipboard as I need it. And yeah, they have all sorts of fandangled belts that you can slide your iPad into, and it looks kind of cumbersome. Very large belts with all this stuff like paper and whatever all in it. So yeah, I mean, I get it. There are things out there that people are designing that is meant to hold your iPad or your paper or whatever you got. But to me, just a clipboard is all I need. One piece of paper and a folder. And I can write on the folder if I need extra paper. And I've been doing it that way for 10 years and 9 years, something like that. And I have no desire to change. Because it's just, once you get a system, I was listening to somebody on my Discord last night. So if you guys aren't on my Discord, make sure you join the Discord. Discord, there's a link in my description of this video. It's a chat group for adjusters. So they talk about all sorts of stuff. And one of those topics did come up, was the fact that the macros were not coming in on the Xactimate Mobile. And the other topic that came up was guys saying, hey, I didn't learn that way. I kind of got a system going, and then learning something new is not always favorable to that person or to me, because it will slow me down so dramatically to start something new that I've never done before. So it's not to say that there aren't many different ways of doing things, because I agree. There's lots and lots of different ways to do things, and as technology changes, things are going to get easier, and programs will be updated, and they'll be pretty awesome. So I get it. It works. I don't like taking photos through an iPad, so that to me is cumbersome, carrying this big old thing, whereas I carry my camera over on a lanyard that is around my neck. So all I have to do is I take a picture and I drop it. Take a picture and I drop it. Take a picture and I drop it. And my hands are always free. I don't ever have an iPad that I've got to fumble around, or a phone. I mean, I've had to, when the camera broke one time, I had to use my phone. It is so cumbersome unless I have a way of lanyarding that phone around my neck. I feel like I'm going to drop my phone all the time. So I just love my little tiny camera. I got a link in my description for that one as well. Little Sony CyberShot. It's got an 8x visual zoom on it, so I can zoom in and see hail damage up on the top fascia as good as if I was standing right next to it. And it's got an SD card. Just put it out, put it in the computer, transfer all the photos. Boom. Flawless. Been doing it that way forever. Never lost a photo. Not sitting there waiting for cloud to update or transferring photos from the phone or whatever. There's just, yeah, run out of space on your phone because you took 150 photos for 3 houses. I mean, here's the thing. On a catastrophe scenario, you might take 100 photos for each house. Okay? And that iPhone is going to be taking a 5 megapixel photo or bigger on every single photo you take. So after 5 houses, you're going to have 500 photos at 5 meg each. You're going to have 2.5 gig of space taken up on your phone. 2.5 gig taken up on your phone. Okay? So what if, you have to remember also, it's going to the cloud. So what if, for instance, just like me, my iCloud was almost full. And I only had a 200 gig plan. I didn't want to buy the super big one yet, because I could just delete what I'm not using, or some things that are out of date, or move them over to a hard storage. And so mine's almost full. I got, I don't know, I probably got a 5 gig or something like that left, or I can't remember. But it's a 200 gig plan, and I had like 5 gig left or something like that. Anyways, if I had taken a ton, like what if I was actually really, really full on my cloud, and I'm out there in the field taking all these photos, they wouldn't upload to the cloud. And then I might lose them. And then you got issues with, when you get back to the house, that you don't have the photos that you need for your report. So there's a lot of tricky things when it comes to photos, that I have found an SD card that has got 32 gig on the card, 32 gig on one card, okay, in my camera. There's no way I'm going to run out of space on that camera for however many photos I have to take. And so that's kind of why I like it. And then also, then the transfer is super fast, meaning I just take out the card out of the camera, put it into my computer, and then when I go into Xactimate, I'm searching for the card, and that's where I'm uploading my photos from. Super fast. There's no transfer, lag or anything, and I never lose a photo. And then here's the cool thing: when I get full, I just take all those off there, copy them over to a hard drive, like an external hard drive, and put them away for 7 years. Because that's what we got to save these things for 7 years. Most of the time I save them for 5, and that's plenty. But yeah, here's the thing: you're uploading all your photos to the cloud anyways on Xactanalysis or Xactimate. So you really don't need to save the photos. I mean, unless their whole server goes down, they got the photos. So the downside is they upload those into a pretty small sized photo. So if you ever had to go to court on one of these claims, that's why you want to have really good photos at a high resolution, is in case they have to blow the photo up and put it on this big poster board in front of the jury or whatever, or the court. You want to have a 5 megapixel photo, because that's the only one that's going to actually blow up nicely, just something in the poster size. So phones love heat. Oh, overheat. Yeah, you're right. They sure do. If inspecting in hot climate too. You're right. I mean, how many times I put the phone in my pocket and it's hot? I know when I'm doing that, when I'm doing videos. You're right. It's a very convenient tool to get a few photos. I don't think it's a good option as your primary photo source for your claims. Personally speaking, I've heard of too many people losing those photos, whether they transfer correctly, or they didn't save to the cloud right, or or whatever. But yeah, I like taking my photos, like I like taking a photo for the insured and on my phone. So like, let's say their roof boot was leaking, and hey, how's it going? Welcome, Zoro. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, so I like taking the photos for the insured where, like, they have a roof boot leak or something, and I can show them that it's dry rotted. I'll take a quick snap with my phone, and then when I go down to talk to them, then I can show them that photo. But I'm not going to show it on my tiny little screen on my camera because they're not going to be able to see that. So, alrighty. A Hollywood actor. Oh, yeah? Who's a Hollywood actor? Do I look like Tom Hanks? I've had that about 1,000 times in my life. Because probably not as much now because he's all wrinkled. But when I was young and I had big fluffy hair on the top of my head, and Tom Hanks always had big hair, I got Tom Hanks a lot. Tom Hanks, handsome uncle. I appreciate that. I don't know who. I'm not your. I know that much. But anyway, so guys, if you have any questions about insurance adjusting, let me know. I'd love to chat with you about it. I'm not a Hollywood actor. Don't think I would ever want to be. I don't want to live in California. California is not for me. That is, I call that all the place for the fruits and nuts. All the people live in California. Sorry if you're listening from California, but all the fruits and nuts live in California. All right. During these, all right, let's see. Let me see. During these non-hurricane times, are firms deploying for hailstorms or not really? Yeah, so it's not about hurricane actually. This is actually hail season time. So this is, yeah, they definitely are deploying. In fact, I got several calls last couple weeks to go Midwest when that big storm in Texas happened. So yeah, deployments for hail happen all the time, pretty much starting mid-March all the way through, I would say June, July, something like that. Once it gets too hot, then we don't have those big swift temperature changes that really drive hail season. Okay, so hail season happens because we've got cold air mass in the north, warm mass in the south, and they collide. Okay, so we're fighting between the snow that's still up there in Colorado and fighting down and knocking into Texas, and then develops this monster storm. So yeah, but they deploy to hailstorms all the time. So if you're wanting to get deployed for those hailstorms, you've got to get on a bunch of rosters. Okay, so all those adjusting firms, you want to get on a ton of their rosters and be calling them all the time. Pardon me. Calling them all the time, because if you don't call them, they're not going to call you. So don't sit around by the phone and wonder why they're not calling you, because they don't call you. They'll call you only if, well, I'll say they don't call you. They don't call you to say, how you doing? Thanks for uploading your resume. We'll give you a call when we got something. No, they don't call you for that. They'll call you if you're being deployed, and you better answer your phone, or you're going to miss it, because they're just going to go to the next person. If you're not available, they're just going to hang up and they're not going to call you back. So I tell people all the time, is if you want to get deployed, you better be answering your phone at any time of the day. But a lot of these companies are now doing text stormings, meaning they shove out massive text alerts, and they say, if you're interested in deploying for the storm, reply back yes or no, or 1, 2, 3, depending on whatever their survey thing that they're asking. That's becoming very common. So back when my day was, they called you, and if you missed the call, you're out of luck. And I hated that part. But now they're doing texting, and it gives you more time to react. So then what they'll do is if you react and say yes, then that person will call you and go over the details with you and let you know your possibility of being deployed. Now, a lot of times they'll just put you on the standby list, and the standby list means, you know, if this turns into be something really good and we need 20 guys, then you'll go. But a lot of times their first top 3 guys have already been picked. And those are the guys that regularly go out for catastrophe work for their firms. They've already been picked. So, are there any firms you're seeing tend to deploy the most, or does it depend year by year? Yeah, so the bigger firms, Alacrity, Pilot, Wardlaw, Crawford and Company, Allcat. I guess they need to change. Their names changed now. A lot of the bigger firms. So the way you find the firms is to go on to catadjuster.org, and you'll look at the most popular firms. They're the biggest firms, or they have the biggest reaction number to their ads. Those are the big firms. Okay, the big firms are the ones that are deploying more. And that's only because they're handling more insurance companies, and they're probably handling more states than some of the smaller firms. So like a smaller firm might only handle Florida, Texas, and, you know, South Carolina, wherever. They might only have a few states because they're a small firm and they're just looking for the busiest areas where they used to get a lot of work. The bigger firms are basically handling daily claims in every state, and they have told their insurance carrier that if anything happens, they can get them covered for claims anywhere in the United States. So Alacrity, for instance, handles every single state. Pilot, same thing. But then Pilot is very specific for some carriers. Like I think they handle Allstate. So maybe you don't want to go out with Allstate. Maybe you do. I don't know. So it just depends on who you want to work for, because some of the insurance companies are hard to work for and some of them are really good. And I like to work for ones that are really good because I want to make sure I'm getting paid. If I'm going to spend my time going out with these insurance companies, I want to make sure that I'm coming home with something paid, and I'm not spending all this time, you know, bouncing things back and forth from file reviews and then writing estimates that I don't agree with. And what I mean by that is that if I believe a roof should be replaced based on my professional belief system or based on the damage that I think is there, I don't want a desk adjuster arguing with me, telling me that they don't see the same stuff I do in the photos, or they don't agree, or like they have some crazy policy that says that they can't pay for this because of X reason. I don't like working for insurance companies like that, because that to me is dishonest. And so what I'll do is try to find insurance companies that are fair to the customer, that are, you know, fair to us as adjusters. They pay us fairly, and I like the standards, like the rules and regulations that they have for replacing roofs, or how they handle wind damage or whatever. And so working for somebody like that makes your job easier when you get deployed. And so it's nice to work for those people, and you feel like when you're done that you've represented the insured well, you've made some good money, and you've treated them fairly. And that's the goal. And until everyone's on that same page, I think as adjusters we should refuse to work for them. I mean, honestly, that's how I feel. That's how strongly I feel. I feel like there's some really bad insurance companies out there, and I refuse to work for them. And I think if thousands of adjusters would do the same thing, and not just take it because they need work, but that they would refuse and say, you're not treating the customer right, we refuse to work for you, then that insurance company will change their policies. Hey, Steven, how's it going? Good morning to you too. Thanks for joining me. So yeah, if people would lock up against these insurance companies and say, you know what, I've done it. They've called me up, these firms, and the insurance company, telling me what insurance company they're working for, and I say, I'm sorry, I don't work for that insurance company. I don't think they treat the people fair. But I appreciate you asking, but I'm not interested. And I have another one where I just said, I don't mind working for the insurance company, but I don't like working for you as a firm because you have this system that I have to follow that I don't like. Meaning, you might use file track instead of using exact analysis, or you might have a very unique report scenario that you want me to bundle together in a certain order and upload it to your server, and all these particulars that are stupid. Or maybe they don't even use exact analysis. I don't work for carriers that don't use exact analysis. It's too difficult. I mean, maybe I'm spoiled, and maybe it's like I'm a snob when it comes to that, but Xactimate is an extremely efficient system, and exact analysis is part of Xactimate, and it's part of the report system, it's part of the notes system, it's part of the document system of Xactimate, and it makes very good sense to use exact analysis for everything, for alerts to the desk adjuster, for notes to put in versus coverage, or to upload documents like declaration pages, policy pages, for prior claims that are uploaded, and make it all streamlined. And if there's ever a note from a manager, or my manager, or the carrier manager, or the carrier desk adjuster, or me, or a roofer, or a mitigation company, the notes are in there. And so it makes it very streamlined for me to go to exact analysis to get everything combined into one location, so that when I go to do that claim, I'm informed. Whereas all these other stupid programs are just annoying, and so I refuse to work for them. So Stephen, where do you recommend getting carrier certifications? I got mine from Alacrity, and I got USAA, I got State Farm Property and Auto from them. I never did Liberty Mutual, but they do the same. So I like Alacrity. Well, back then it was Worley, but they still do it, and I like it because I got most of my work from Alacrity because of getting my certifications through them. So that just, I think it depends on, like, for instance, if you've got a firm that's saying, hey, we handle a ton of USAA claims and we offer USAA certification, I think that would be a great place to take the USAA certification from, is that if you take it from that firm, then there's a good chance you're going to probably get some work from that firm after you've taken their certification. Because then they know you're skilled, you've been trained by their guys, exactly what they're looking for. So I knew I wanted to work for Alacrity, and so that's where I went ahead and got my certifications from, and I was immediately working shortly after I got my certifications with them. So that's why I recommend going with a big firm. Like Pilot does that, and they immediately deploy their people. Pilot does those certifications as well, and you can get deployed very quickly. I know Crawford does the same thing. EA Renfro does the same thing. So yeah, so if you're looking to get deployed, then you want to take your certifications through some of those big firms. If you take it through a small firm, you might get some daily claims, but I don't know. I don't know that you're going to get deployed to a big State Farm event or something like that. In fact, some of those small firms don't offer State Farm certification. So yeah, so that's what I would do. I mean, everybody needs to work for State Farm, I think, at least auto, just to kind of see how things work with them, because it's really good training and it's a really good system, and I think overall, they really teach you a lot. So it's a good plan. Whether you continue to work for them, like I don't work any State Farm claims now, but that's my choice. But I mean, is that limiting me for work? Probably, but they're not one of my top insurance companies that I like working for. So that's what I just made that choice to not work for them. Now, could it change in the future? Maybe, but I don't know. You gotta remember, guys, you're an independent. You get to make these decisions. What's best for your company? What's good for you? Your bottom line? Maybe even the stress level that you're put under. For instance, if you're working for Allstate, just expect that you're going to have a lot of stress working those insurance claims. I mean, we're talking high stress, because they are going to question every single thing that you put in your report, every photo that you take, every decision that you try to make, any kickbacks or anything like that are all going to be stressful, very stressful, and very hard claims to work. And personally, I don't want that in my life. I don't want all that stress, so I choose to not work for them. Does it limit me in the amount of work? Absolutely. I could get endless Allstate claims for where I live, but I don't want them. So I think if we would all as adjusters complain and not accept Allstate work, then maybe Allstate would change the way they handle their claims. Now that would take a concentrated effort, kind of like a bunch of people who go on strike. And it doesn't have to be picket lines and holding a whole bunch of signs up, but silently you could just say, I appreciate your offer, but no thanks. And if everybody did it, we would see their fee schedules go up. We would see their possibly their approval ratings, like for the amount of roofs approvals, would go up. The amount of kickbacks would go down. The amount of arguments with the adjusters would go down, and the stress level would go down. I know that for a fact. But as long as we got new guys that are going out there and willing to, jump out there with Allstate, learn the hard way, Allstate's getting all their claims handled. So they don't care. As long as they can keep denying claims and have somebody out there on the roof, which they don't really even care what you say on the roof. They don't even care what you inspect or what you take photos of, because you're not the one making the decisions. The desk adjuster is going to make the decisions for you, and that's just wrong. That's not unbiased adjusting. That's very biased. Anyways, so this is it a Monday today? Lost track of days already. No, Tuesday today. I was on a monster roof today, bigger than the one I put a video on. So if you didn't see my video on Daniel the Adjuster on my YouTube channel, my latest video said massive 1512 roof. The one I was on today made that one kind of look like a little miniature. This one was 1412 on the front, a 1512 on the left and right, and it was massive. And it was hard to climb. I did do a video, meaning I did put a GoPro on my head and climb this thing, but I'll be honest with you, I don't know. That was a little sketchy roof. So I'll do a video of that one. I don't know what I'm going to call it because the last one was massive. This one was insane. So is that what hey, give me some suggestions of what I should call the video. Okay, so I said massive 1512 roof inspection was the name of my last video. Okay, so give me a suggestion. What should I put on this one that makes the last one not look so massive that this one's even bigger? What should I name my video? Like gargantuan roof inspection, right? What should I put on for a name? Give me some suggestions, guys. Mind-blowing roof inspection, or roof from hell. But big red fire all over it. Something like that. You guys give me some suggestions. Give me a suggestion of what I should name my next YouTube video for a roof that's 1412 on the front, a 1512 on the side, probably 65 squares, and it looked like I was climbing a mountain. I had to pull a rope out again. And even the roof, well, the roofer was, man, he was a little monkey. He was all over that thing. He was a little thin guy. He was doing really well. But yeah, this was a tough roof. Nobody has any suggestions? No suggestions, okay. So yeah, I had 3 roofs today. My big gargantuan one. Maybe that's the name I'll use. Gargantuan roof. That's a long word though. I don't know. Will that fit on my splash screen across the front of my YouTube channel? Then my second one was a 612 hip roof. And it was, oh, sorry about that. Let's see if I had some music. All right, you guys got any questions? Questions? Anybody out there in La La Land? It's a beautiful day here, 65 degrees in Raleigh, in the North Carolina area, central North Carolina. We had a big thunderstorm yesterday, which we probably are going to have some hail. It was reported that we had hail last night. So now we just have to wait for the roofers to get out there, or the insureds to call in and say, hey, I had hail come down and damage my house, blah, blah, blah. So we're going to be waiting for the insureds and the roofers to basically start the claim process. And I'm pretty sure we're going to see some damage. Even if it's not from that, we're going to see some leaks and some wind damage. Maybe even some trees down from this event. It was a big thunderstorm yesterday. What about your area? Did you guys have any storms in your area? You guys are quiet today. Quiet. I'm just driving back from Greensboro. It was a good day of claims. Can't complain. Traffic's not bad either, so that's the one thing I love about driving at this time of the day, coming back from Greensboro, is the traffic's really not that bad. And we're not struggling with trucks or driving 75 to 80 the whole way, so perfect driving today. All right. So yeah, after climbing 3 roofs, I'm kind of tired today. Probably can tell that. Not so chipper. And then driving an hour and a half back from these claims can be a little tiring sometimes after you climb 3 big roofs. So yeah, climbing 3 big roofs, it's pretty tiresome. That first roof tired me out pretty bad, because that's a 1412 and a 1512. That's very hard climbing. But you get them inspected, get turned in, no big deal. And I could see the damage really well, so that's what was really nice about it. It was an older roof, and so the shingles had definitely enough damage to easily see the hail damage and get some good photos, so they can't sit there and argue and say, I don't know, I don't see it. So don't have any issues there. So I'm off my juice fast, or the not juice, the water fast. I got off that on Sunday, so that was good. Felt pretty good. I was ready to eat. Just had some soup when I got back on eating food again, and now I'm back to the regular diet. But I've definitely cut back a lot. So the big benefit to the water fast was that it changed my appetite, meaning it allowed me to be more content with smaller meals. So that was good. That was a big benefit. So I was very pleased with that. And that'll help my portion sizes. All right, sorry, my internet cut out. How about seriously dangerous roof inspection? Oh yeah, that's a good name. Seriously dangerous. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. I think I'll use that, Steven. Seriously. The only downside is those are 4 long words, or 3 long words, and I run into kind of a type space restriction a little bit on the size, like for the font size, and getting that into my splash page, my head page. So mega dangerous, maybe. Mega dangerous? Ultra dangerous. Yeah, maybe that. Ultra dangerous roof inspection. How's that sound? Is that better? Ultra? Because that's a little smaller word. Ultra. Ultra dangerous. Ultra risky. Ultra. Yeah, let's brainstorm, guys. Ultra, yeah, okay. Yeah, so ultra is a nice short word we can use. Ultra sketchy. How about that? Ultra sketchy roof inspection. How about that? You like sketchy? Does sketchy sound good? Because that one, it really was. To me, I felt like it was a sketchy roof climb. So would that be a word that somebody would go, ooh, I want to watch that, because that says it was a sketchy roof climb. Yeah, maybe I'll use sketchy. Ultra sketchy roof inspection. Yeah. That sound good? Okay, Steve, got a thumbs up for that. Anybody else? Anybody else think that's... We're talking about a splash screen for the name of my next video, which is the one that I did today. 1412 in the front, 1512 on the left and right. Freaky. Oh, freaky. There's another one. Ultra freaky roof inspection. How about freaky? Are we... Okay. Sketchy or freaky? Which one's better? Which one's better? Freaky or sketchy? So if somebody's going to say, that was a freaky roof, or is that a sketchy roof? One, freaky, ultra sketchy roof inspection, or ultra sketchy, ultra freaky roof inspection. Sketchy. Okay, got it. All right, Steven, sketchy. Yeah, sketchy sounds better, because that's what people do. Like, that was kind of sketchy, because you're thinking, Oh, I shouldn't have climbed that. I should have been more careful. I should have had a roof, a Ridge Pro or a goat climbing that thing. All right, ultra sketchy roof inspection. All right, that's the name. We'll go with that one. Unless I hear anybody else say something else. Thanks, Steven. I appreciate it. Maybe I should do this every time, because that's why I sit there and I think about, well, what should I call this one? Because, you know, I've got like several hundred videos on there now, and I don't want to name the same name, so I'm running out of names. So you gotta make it catchy, a catchy name, so people want to watch it. You know, splash screen, they say, is everything. It's why people click on it. You know, they want to see. Whoa, what does that mean? So ultra sketchy. Yeah, that sounds good. We'll do ultra sketchy, and maybe I'll do like a scared facial, like, look on myself that shows me like freaking out, like, oh, and we'll make it so that I'm freaking out. Too bad I couldn't do like one of those green screens where like you're hanging off the roof in the photo and you look like you're falling off the gutters or something like that. That would be cool. All right, I gotta read this. Hold on. The carrier that made up about half of my daily claims dropped my state for the firm I worked for. Oh wow, scrambling to make up for it. Oh, I'm right there with you, Steven. That happened to me too. I lost a really good carrier. They actually went under. So UPC, I know, I'm right there with you. I know what you're feeling, man. It's hard. So UPC went out of business. They went bankrupt, and they were out of Florida, and I was handling quite a bit for UPC a while back. So that dried up, and then Progressive, I think Alacrity lost the contract, or they became a second or third in line for claim volume, and so my claim volume totally stopped, like from 5 to 8 claims a week down to 1 a month. So they blew it. They did something so wrong. They ticked off somebody at Progressive so bad because they got last, and they're not getting any claims at all. So yeah, so that happened. So that's part of the reason why I was telling you guys that getting on multiple rosters is really important, because Stephen, what you want to do is contact a whole bunch of firms and ask them if they're handling that carrier that you got dropped off of in your state, because somebody's doing it. So it's probably how they got dropped off as a firm is they were doing crummy work, and they gave the work to another firm that was doing better. Like they tested them out and they were actually doing better, like less errors, you know, less returns, whatever, you know, all sorts of reasons why firms get booted or get kicked out of like the top place for handling all this stuff. So what you want to do is call a whole bunch of firms and just say, hey, I was just wondering if you're handling X insurance company. Okay, thanks. If you're not, okay, no big deal. And then just go through it. And you're not looking to get on any of these firms per se for anything. If you were handling those claims, then you're experienced at that claim volume, okay, or the way they handle claims. So what you want to do is then you have a great conversation with them, and you'll be able to say, oh, I was handling 5 a week or whatever it was with them, and then all of a sudden it just stopped, and you know, my firm is not handling them anymore. I was wondering if I could just pick up with you, you know, because clearly maybe you got the volume that they lost. And you got to remember, you have to act like you understand the system, and the system is there's ranking with these firms. And every quarter, think about it. Here's the second quarter, April 1st. Okay? New quarter. new evaluation. So whoever the new firm was that just got the entire volume of claims that last firm you were with just got booted from, it's because they ranked higher than your firm that you were working for in handling those claims. So they just got booted because they did crummy work. It's not that you did crummy work, it's that as a whole, that firm was doing crummy handling of that carrier's claims, and then they decided to boot that firm from handling their claims, or demote them as to being like the second or third or fourth down the line. Well, that's the same thing with Alacrity. Alacrity obviously got booted from Progressive. They were number one, and we were handling bukus. They were my primary insurance company for probably 60% of my work about 3 years ago. And now I don't handle 12 claims a year for them. 12. Lucky if I handle 12 claims a year for them. So they clearly tick somebody off. I am very lucky that my manager said she would find out who was handling my states for them now and I'll send them my resume. Oh man, you're so lucky. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Our managers look out for us. You know, they get frustrated sometimes with the ranking as the firm as a whole. And that's why you'll see some of your managers will jump ship and go work for another firm. Is you'll see them frustrated with the way that firm is handling their business, and it's making them look bad. So I've had several managers that have jumped ship and gone to a different firm, and I've got work from that new firm because that manager was there. So remember, don't burn your bridges, but they burn their bridges with the insurance carrier all the time. All that means is somebody else got the work. I mean, you don't just stop handling claims. Somebody's handling them. So you got to find out who it is. So that's the same thing, is that I've been meaning to call up some of my desk adjusters that work for Progressive that I know because I've handled so many claims with them. I meant to do that. And then I was going to ask them what firm is actually handling most of the Progressive claims, because they know that. They know, the desk adjusters know what firm they're sending all their emails to, or they're sending all their assignments to. They know. So that's how you can get some inside information. If you make friends with some of the desk adjusters, you'll find out who the top firm is, and then you go talk to them. Now, doesn't mean you'll find work with them, because they may already have their guy or girl that's handling their claims for them in that specific area that you live. But if you live in like a Texas area where you're getting tons and tons and tons of claims, one more adjuster, they're going to add you, because they never know what kind of event they're going to have. They might have a massive hailstorm where they need every single adjuster in the world to help them handle all the claims they get. So yeah, it doesn't hurt. It's a game. It's Russian roulette, whatever you want to call it. We play that game all the time. We're changing careers, or changing carriers we're working for, we're changing firms we're working for. Like right now, I work for Compass, and they're my primary work source. That's the firm I work for. A lot of people have been trying to get into Compass, but they can't, because they're a small firm. I mean, they're a big firm, but a small firm. They act like a big firm, but they're not. They handle a lot of claims, but they're not in the top 5. So, but working for them has been very good, because I work for Universal North America as the insurance company, and they treat everybody phenomenal. Their fee schedule is good. They treat the insureds well. They treat us well. They treat the firm well. They treat everybody well. And I just love working for them. I love working for Universal North America. They're a great insurance company, but they're not huge. And so for someone to go and find work with them, it's going to be really hard, because like me, I'm never going to get rid of them because I love working for them. So until that position opens up, that's how it works out. Until somebody moves or retires or decides they're moving to a different state, or and Universal's not there, or whatever, that's the only way something's going to open up for somebody to take my place, is if I just stop handling them. But otherwise, as long as I'm happy and I'm working with them, I travel in catastrophe work with them. They have several other carriers I don't care to work for, so I don't. But they have 9 or 10 different insurance companies they work for, and I don't like working for any of those other ones. Now, I haven't worked for them all, but several that I have worked with them, I don't care for them because they're smaller insurance companies. And again, coming back to that exact analysis again, if it's going to make my job tougher to do the job, and with all their special forms and all their extra stuff they do, then it's not worth it to me. It's just not worth it to me. I want to find somebody, a big insurance company that has got the money to work through exact analysis, assigning claims properly, notes all work perfectly, documents work perfectly, invoicing works perfectly. That's what I want. I want to work for those. And yeah, I probably am less busier than most adjusters. So there's a lot of guys who are full-time adjusters that make twice what I make. They're also twice as busy as I am. I don't really want to be that busy. I like what I'm doing. I have free time. I have no stress. And I like it that way. And I make good money. And I love my job. And I love who I work for. What else would you want? So, I mean, the last thing you want to do is work for somebody you hate working for. Because then you're just mad. You're just upset all the time, and you're frustrated with things, and your job is stressful, and you don't like working for them. And you don't like the desk adjusters, and you don't like the managers, and you don't like whatever. I mean, it makes it really hard to work for them. So I don't want that to be part of my life. So I'm going to do my best to try and find peace with the people that I work for. That give me the best reward for my money. Well, I'm not really putting any money, but the best reward for the work that I put in. Hope that makes sense. All right, well, we're getting close to home. Woo! Goodness. Tired. It's 12:08 Eastern Time. Drove from Greensboro for an hour and a half drive. Be home in 9 minutes. Then we'll get something to eat. I didn't stop to get something to eat because I have leftovers. Made a nice big roast yesterday. Potatoes, carrots, onions, and a big old roast that's falling apart. Big old, I think it was a couple pounds. So I got 3 meals out of it, and it was really good. It was really good. Garlic, rosemary, thyme, bay leaves, a little bit of red wine in there. Yeah, it was incredible. Worcestershire. So yeah, cooked up a big roast so I could have several days of really good meals afterwards, leftovers. Make a big roast beef sandwich or something if I want to. All right, guys, any other last minute questions? Otherwise, we'll jump off of here. And I hope you guys have a great Tuesday. It's a beautiful day here. We had big thunderstorms yesterday, so it's nice to see the sun. Sun's out, life's good. It's normally very sunny in North Carolina. So for those who have never been here, the sun's out all the time. It's always blue. Very bright and sunny. Even, looks like a hazy day when you look up, but it's very bright. So the sun's out all the time. It's very nice. Oh, you're welcome. Anytime for the advice, Stephen. Glad to help. I mean, that's my goal here, is to help you guys out. so we can all succeed. I mean, that's my goal. I mean, I love to hear stories of people saying that things worked out for them and they stuck in this job. And I mean, I hear a lot of stories of people dropping out too. So it's kind of, you know, I tell people there's always room for more adjusters because so many people drop out. So, I mean, everybody to each his own. It's hard, you know, sometimes. The consistency of work is difficult sometimes, and in budgeting, making sure that you take all the plenty that you get in the summer, save some of that for the winter. You know, because there's some months you'll be making twice what you need for the month as far as income, twice, 3 times what you need. And so the best thing to do is to take that extra and set it aside for the months when you're making a quarter of what you should be making. And trust me, those months do happen. So you have to budget for them, otherwise you're going to be hurting. And so I've seen a lot of guys who didn't budget properly, and then they ended up quitting because they needed to go get a job because they didn't have any money. So that's bad budgeting. So I get it. It's tough out there. Self-employment is not easy, but once you form a habit or a system, then it can go very well. Well, guys, I hope the best for you today. I hope that you guys will have a great day, a great Tuesday, and we'll catch you on the next one. All right, guys, make sure you give a thumbs up before I leave, and we'll